Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today on this episode, I want to answer a question that I get asked a lot about fluorocarbon line. And that question is, what is the big difference between a low-cost fluorocarbon line like Seaguar Red Label and a top shelf, more expensive fluorocarbon line like Seaguar Tatsu? And this is a legit question. I appreciate this question because there is a big difference between the price points of these two different types of line. And Seaguar also has a bunch of other lines in between these price points. And they have one that's actually less expensive than Red Label, which I don't have in the boat right now. It's called Basics, and it's like $9.99 for a spool of 100% fluorocarbon, which is pretty cool. But anyways, it's a question that I've been asking myself for a long time, and being able to experiment with the different lines that Seaguar has especially, I've been able to really come to understand the benefits of having a high price line for certain situations. Because I'm not going to sit here and say that you have to have Tatsu for all different conditions, all different situations. That's just not the truth. Red Label is one of my favorite lines to throw for a lot of different situations, okay? But really, it comes down to the qualities of these two lines and to be able to figure out what they can accomplish and what they're better suited for. So with that being said, we need to talk about how Tatsu is made. So essentially, Tatsu is a dual resin formulation, okay? They take a more dense resin and they put that in the core of this line, and then they have a resin that goes on the outside, completely different resin, and it's all proprietary. Seaguar is the only one that makes their own resins for their line. And essentially, when those two resins are combined in Tatsu, it creates a line that is not only super strong, has a lot of abrasion resistance, but it's also very thin per line diameter. It's one of the thinnest main lines on the market. And it also has a very soft and low memory quality to it too, which is very, very important. So in situations where you're looking to have a lower diameter line, but you don't want to sacrifice the strength of the line, Tatsu is a really good line for that type of situation. And so situations that I would definitely use Tatsu in are finesse applications, especially mainline on spinning gear. Anytime I'm trying to get a bait deeper and not sacrifice line strength, like fishing crankbaits or you know, fishing a jerk bait. And also on the note of crankbaits and jerk baits, because Tatsu is so soft and has such low memory, it's not as wiry as some inexpensive fluorocarbons. So I feel like it gives a bait more range of motion, which is really important with something like a jerk bait, which, you know, you want to have that wide hopping, walking action underneath the surface. So Tatsu does that very well. Another thing that Tatsu does really well is flipping and pitching. That is one of my favorite situations to use Tatsu because, and you wouldn't even think that that would be the case. You'd think that, well, if Red Label is strong enough, why not use Red Label? I mean, line diameter doesn't matter all that much when you're flipping and pitching, and that's a good point. That's what I thought. But one of the things that I found is that with inexpensive lines having more memory, when I'm flipping and pitching, you know, with heavy fluorocarbon like 22 or 25 pound test, it tends to fluff up more on the reel, and I'm constantly having to pull out all that fluff, and then re-spool everything under pressure to get everything to line up right. But with Tatsu, that doesn't happen nearly as much because it's just so soft and has such low memory, and it's just not wiry like other fluorocarbons. So there are a lot of situations where this is just such a huge advantage. But there's also other situations where it's not that big of an advantage, so you don't need to spend that extra money. For instance, one of my favorite situations for Red Label is when I'm fishing a bait that's more of a power fishing tactic that is, you know, I'm not really worried about line diameter at all, like fishing a chatterbait up shallow in grass, or fishing a spinner bait up shallow, or you name it, swim jig fishing. You know, anything where I'm not worried about the line diameter, but I just want a strong fluorocarbon line that has low stretch. That's when I like to go for a less expensive fluorocarbon like Red Label. And Red Label, let me tell you, we haven't really talked about InvisX and AbrazeX, and those are awesome too. But Red Label is just one of my absolute favorites because it's just so strong. You know, it's such a good low price point line. And you know, InvisX is great because it has that soft, low memory you know, formulation, and AbrazeX is known for its abrasion resistance. Tatsu is just the best of all of them. It pretty much encompasses all the different qualities that you would want in a fluorocarbon line, and is the perfect fluorocarbon line. But the whole idea about this video is to let you guys know that yes, you do not need to buy the top shelf line, fluorocarbon line for every situation. But yes, it does give you a big advantage under certain circumstances. So in the end, just like anything else, you know, there's certain situations that a more expensive tool is going to be a much better option than a less expensive one, but that doesn't mean a less expensive one can't get the job done too. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button if you enjoy this content. Also, a great way to support the channel is to help me come up with ideas for future videos. So if you have a topic that you want me to cover, drop a comment below for sure. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, use the affiliate links in the description below, and I'm gonna see you out on the water. Trust the process.